What are the assets of your residential real estate business? For a lot of real estate agents, brokers, team leaders, that's a foreign question. Most of the agents I'm talking to, and I'm talking to prospective coaching clients and event attendees year round, basically, thousands of them. Most of them would have responded to that question by simply saying, that's not the kind of business I own. When they think assets or inventory, they're thinking of a production company, a retail business, a shelf asset, a shelf inventory type business, or they're thinking of equipment, machinery, things like that. I'm here to tell you that there are critical assets that your residential real estate business or your residential real estate team have got to have, or you may be able to survive without them, but you've got to have them in order to be able to sustain a business without you having to be the constant primary driving force the entire time. So if you'd like to not have to be the constant driving force of results in your business, and you'd like to build assets into your business that can create that for you, stay tuned. This is Commissioned. I'm Todd Tramonte, broker, owner, team leader, coach, author, radio host, all that good stuff right here in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. And with me is Grady Dill, the director of Real Estate Growth Systems, our coaching and consulting business. And we're going to dive into this topic on this episode. We're going to go deep on which assets you may want to have, what kinds of assets can help you build that sustainable, predictable, repeatable business that scales and manages and maintains and even grows without you having to be the constant driver, or without having to always depend on other people that can come and go, succeed and fail. So what would it look like if you were creating assets in your business that created more consistency, more repeatability, more reliability, where you can sleep well at night knowing that's just going to happen over and over and over. The phone's going to ring. We're going to get opt-ins. We're going to get comments and likes and shares. That's going to happen the same way every time. That is how people are going to perceive us and get to know us 80% of the time the exact way we want. Those are the assets of the business. The videos that introduce people to you, the scripts that convert leads, the web pages that are people's first or second impression of you, the online profiles that are unavoidable for somebody who's interested in you. Now, there's a lot of others, so I do want to back away for a second and give you a little bit more of an academic approach to this. Here's a list of the type of assets you want to at least consider. Intellectual property assets. So these are things that are uniquely yours. They're your brainchild. They're your products, your systems, the things you've created. One of those is content. If you create a video, you create a script, you write a blog or an article or a checklist, that's intellectual property that came out of your brain, out of your intellect, and is now an asset of your business. Sidebar, you need to protect that. Reach out to us if you want to know how we do that. Any methodology you have or any process you have, which could be a checklist like I already mentioned, or it could be a sort of a philosophical approach that incorporates how to do something. That could be your proven process or systems for achieving any specific results. That's your intellectual property. Also, any legitimate registered IP. That could be a trademark or a domain, a patent, any brand elements that are protected or copywritten. Now, you also have brand assets like your brand philosophy, your brand identity. This could be the look and feel or even the logos, things like that. Any brand ambassadors. This sounds weird to call that an asset, but this is literally like someone who advocates or promotes and has some sort of exclusivity, maybe contractually or maybe just out of generosity, but you want to protect that. You might want to formalize that a little bit more. You have market assets like positioning in the market, the unique place that your business holds in the mind of your customer. That's not necessarily quantifiable, but it is a real asset. Think about marketing channels, basically ways that you reliably connect your message to your market. What are the media channels? What are the delivery mechanisms that you control, that you created, that you own, that you protect, that you have exclusivity around? Also just data, like the information and the quality of the information you have is an asset to your business that is transferable, that is usable, and more often than not is underutilized. You have product assets. Do you have unique custom gifts that you give people? Those are assets that your business has that others don't. What about products that you use to get new leads, to get prospects. I learned a lot of this from a book called 24 Assets from Daniel Priestley, and he calls those products for prospects. Some people would call those a lead magnet or something, a tool or resource that draws in your prospective clients. Those are your assets. It could be a white paper, it could be a book, could be a gift, could be a tip sheet, 10 ways to protect your property value, anything like that. Then you have your core product or service, which might be buyer representation, seller representation, and you have the way you do that. You have the methodology, the product, the asset, the checklist. Those are assets. And then you actually have like things you do for or give to your clients that may be a premium offering. Those are also assets. Now you have systems assets. I've mentioned checklist multiple times. We have a 7-step proprietary marketing system for our sellers and a 13-point buyer program for our buyers. Those are systems assets. How do we deliver that results with a system? It's ours. It's unique to us. We own it. We protect it. And it works over and over and over again. That's an asset. Then you have like your operating systems. Those are assets. If somebody wanted to buy your business, they would say, what are your systems? What's your operational process? What are the procedures for that? How do you train someone to do that? What if that person leaves? How do you get someone else up to speed really quickly? Those systems, those trainings, those operating systems, those are assets. Then there's some cultural assets. I know I'm going deep into this.
It's a lot of assets.
But it matters. You want to have a lot of assets. It really does matter. You can come back and listen to this again, or you can pull a transcript or whatever, or you can reach out to us at the link below to help you implement things like this into your business. You and I could jump on the phone or Zoom for 15 or 20 minutes. I can help you implement some of this, or we could talk about coaching or consulting or mastermind or whatever you may be interested in. But there's culture assets. I'm sort of an asset to my business. I'm what Daniel Priestley would call a key person of influence, or what some people would call kind of the personality or the brand ambassador or the owner positioning, right? Your marketing and sales team, the people, your marketing and sales process, those are assets. There's a cultural asset to how you do that. What's the vibe? What's the energy? Then there's sort of a management administrative team. Hopefully you have that. You may be that in your business, but there's an asset to your business that exists, or you're lacking it if it does not. Then you have sort of the technicians in the business, which could be any technical work. Those are assets. Then you might have some funding assets, your ability to borrow, your cash, your ability to have access to funding, and other things like that. So I know that's a lot. I know that felt really detailed, but just imagine for a second. Close your eyes, not if you're driving. What if all of that was in place? How much less worried would you be that if you got sick or you got exhausted, your business could keep running without you? Or somebody might want to partner with you, or somebody might want to join your business so you didn't have to do it all alone. Or somebody someday might want to buy that business because the value was higher because of the assets you have, or maybe the value of one or more assets was actually more valuable than you continuing to hustle and grind and do all that work.
One thing you said that I've been sitting here spinning about was you mentioned brand ambassador. And you said that and I was like, where does that fit in? How does that fit into real estate? But then it took me back to when we were talking to coaching clients a few weeks ago about reviews.
Yep.
And getting people that trust you and know your business. We've had Bonnie Curry and other big names from the radio and TV.
Yeah, I mean, we've had Barbara Corcoran, we've had Sean Hannity. They were brand ambassadors. Obviously, some of them were paid, some of them were not. I think you're even getting into some of the non-paid brand ambassadors that anyone and everyone, a great team member, great team leader probably already has, but they're not thinking of that person as an asset. So that may be a really well-known local past client or advocate. They might be an advocate just because they're a family member of yours. Hopefully they're an advocate because they believe in the value that you or your business bring to the marketplace, to them, the trust that they have in you. Yeah, but those brand ambassadors are huge. And we probably ought to do an episode on the process you were talking about getting reviews and how we use brand ambassadors to do that and how we can help people create, find, develop brand ambassadors to really build assets in your business. Think about this. Is a great public review of your company an asset? I think so. It is something you now own or at least control for a long period of time that can be a driver of new business, of reputation, of trust, of buyer business, of seller business, of referral business, of new team member recruiting possibilities. That third-party social proof, which I'm obviously a big believer in, is an asset. Every single individual review is an asset. The platforms where you have a collection of reviews, they are assets, but we need to be a little bit cautious because oftentimes we don't fully own or control those. I don't own or control Google. That would be nice. I don't own or control Zillow or Realtor.com or my local profile in our local realtor association or the state or the national association. But each of those profiles where I have the ability to house these other assets, reviews, photos, endorsements, a great communication of your value to the marketplace is an asset. Could be a video, could be just a phenomenally well-written, compelling paragraph that you can put in lots of different places. That's an asset. A logo is an asset. A tagline, if you do that, is an asset. A mission or a vision statement that's really compelling and drives people to trust is an asset. Just imagine if you had a video on your main webpage that for 5 years had been proving that when a stranger goes to your website and watches this 3-minute video, they're almost instantaneously a trusted, at least observer, if not prospect, sometimes client, and occasionally raving fan advocate. That video is now probably one of your most valuable assets. And if you died or left the business or quit or sold, that video could continue to do what it was doing while you sleep, while you're no longer around, or while you got paid to leave. So as you think about assets in your business, I want you to think non-traditionally. I want you to think about all those categories I just shared, the examples we've already given, and think about what percentage of your time could you or should you spend to develop these types of assets. It can't be your whole business. You got to do the work of the company. But, Grady, you could think about what are some assets that our team or our business has that as a team member who didn't create most of them or came here after many of them were already created, you've benefited from. Think about that. If you have one, feel free to just jump in or blurt it out. But I would tell you some of the ones I'm most proud of over the years are the books that I have written that our team members, brand new or 11 years on the team, can use every single day to convert strangers and prospects to clients and raving fans.
Training modules.
I
mean, you get on the team and you're up and running faster than you thought you would because of, even for coaching clients.
Sure.
Like they get access to those and they're consistently wowed of.
We have recorded myself and now some others doing training at a very high level that they may never have to do in-person trading time for that ever again.
Yep.
Because it can be, at least for years at a time, that's an asset that can be used over and over and over. I have turned those assets that I originally built for our team members into a whole coaching business, which is way more than courses now. But because I captured that and turned it into an asset, it then began to return results, both from impact and income, many, 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 many times over. If you're speaking at an event, if you're a guest on a podcast, if you get some local earned PR, meaning you get interviewed by the TV station or the radio station or the newspaper, that piece, that recording, that article then should become an asset of your business that you build into another asset, which would be a system for disseminating, communicating, sharing, showing, bragging ethically, responsibly, with that asset to create another asset that can do that over and over and over and become a source of business, a source of trust, a source of team members, a source of opportunity, whether that be partnership or introductions or just notoriety. I could go on and on and on, but if you're not focusing some of your time and working on the business, not just in the business, and we have past episodes about doing that and how critical it is in some ways to do it. But if you're not allocating some of that time to work on the business, on creating assets, you as the owner, broker, team leader, or successful agent, and eventually other team members and staff members whose job it is to help you create more assets. We have marketing people on the team that turn my ideas into print, turn them into videos, turn them into audio. And often they're not even my ideas. As a great team member and team player, they're over there creating assets, whether that be a local guide, an event, an invitation, a script, a process, a structure, a piece of technology, any of those things. Quick, funny story. I say funny because billions of dollars are fun, and fun can be funny. But the company Slack, that's really, really well known as like a messaging system. It's more robust than that now. But it was created as simply a tool of a startup company that was intending to build a completely different business. The business that they were building did not succeed. It failed. And in the process of shutting down that business, laying people off, and telling investors that it just didn't work out, they realized that people really, really liked this inner team messaging tool that they built. That to them was a very simple piece of technology that was just simply used to get work done, to trade messages, to stay in touch without having to be on the phone or jump on a video chat or whatever. Very simple messaging with some nice ancillary features. That later sold to Salesforce.com for billions of dollars. It was not the business. It was a simple, basic technology asset of the business that turned a failed business into one of the greatest business success stories of all time. I just challenge our viewers, our listeners, our friends with that. What have you already built in your business that works all the time, every time, most of the time? It's responsible for new team members or new buyers or new sellers or higher fees or more value or happier clients or more reviews. And it's responsible for that over and over again. Maybe twice a year, maybe twice a month, maybe twice a week, maybe twice a day. What are the assets you already have that you're not viewing as an asset, that you're underutilizing, that you're not training people on, that you're not putting out in the world more, or that you haven't thought of as, man, something happened to me, others could use this. If I were ever to sell, somebody would really value this. And then what could you create? Or what could you bring out of your head into the real world so that other people could use it, so it could be replicated, so that it could be expanded or improved? And then what's missing in your business that is a needed asset that you don't currently have? If you'd like some help thinking through that and evaluating the assets that your business lacks or has or could take more advantage of, click the link near this video or audio. Request a short call with me. I love talking about this stuff. I'd be happy to talk about how we could help you implement some of that into your business totally free, 15 or 20 minutes. If you want to talk about how we can run together long-term in a coaching relationship or mastermind with us, we can do that, but that's not a requirement. Click the link, request some time with me. Let's dig into the assets of your business and how much fun and how much value and income and impact you can create. So you can create a business that supports the life you want to live and own the business instead of the business owning you. Click that link. We'll talk soon. Check out those other episodes I referenced as we discuss this topic, and then go build incredible, valuable assets in your business. And I'll talk to you on the next one.